It's February and we are in northern Italy. And this is a very interesting citrus fruit. This is the US119. And this is a crossing between a citrumelo and an orange. And the citrumelo itself is a crossing, a hybrid of grapefruit and Poncirus trifoliata that gives citrus the cold hardiness. And then this citrumelo was hybridized with a Succory orange. This was an hybrid created in 1988. The fruit are very different in size. The plant is pretty old. It's more than 5 years old. Doesn't produce a lot of fruits, but it grows in the Po Valley, so with no problems. But as you can see, there is a big difference between fruits. So the biggest fruit here is, we can weight it. It's 116 grams, okay? So this is the biggest one. And we have a medium fruit that is 106 grams. And the smallest one is only 76 grams. So they could be, usually most of the times the fruits are very little. If your tree is very young, probably this is the fruit size you will produce the first years, and then maybe you can reach this size, so a little bigger. But anyway, if we compare to another orange, we have this orange that is more similar to a real orange. This is the fruit of Ichangensis crossed with sinensis. I suppose this is a variety that is not crossed with Ichangensis, but anyway, this is a standard orange size, more or less. You can see the weight is bigger. It's not very big, but it's around 200 grams. Let's say this is a small orange, obviously. A bigger one would be more or less like, let's say, this one. This is the size I expect from an orange, more or less. And the weight would be obviously different, but just for comparison, obviously. And I will show you how this fruit is inside and how it tastes. So let's remove the scale. And so basically, okay, the shape is pretty strange. Probably this fruit had grown in a strange way. But anyway, if you look even at other fruit, you can see there is a kind of pear shape. Anyway, this is pretty normal with this kind of plant. I could compare the fruit with another one that is interesting, maybe the Dunstan crossing. Dunstan crossing is a citrumelo. So this is an hybrid between Poncirus and grapefruit. So this is called Dunstan, and I can tell you even after what it tastes. It's not a good flavor, I could say, but anyway. And another fruit I would like to compare. So this was like 108 grams, so it's very close in size and weight to the middle fruit of the US 119. And another fruit is very rotten, but just for reference, this is the Poncirus fruit. Okay, this is a very rotten fruit. Usually the real fruit is this color, but it's very late season for Poncirus, so they are not good, but I can, just to show the difference, the size of the smallest US 119 fruit is just double size of the Poncirus, and the biggest one obviously is bigger, but okay, maybe it's like 3-4 Poncirus fruit size, okay, just for reference. Okay, so this fruit is clearly gone too far because, as I said, now it's February and usually these ripen in December. Early December you can have a good fruit, you can use it. Usually the US119 is very sweet with not very strong sour aftertaste, so I could say usually this is a sweet fruit. In this case, the fruit is gone too far, so it's not juicy. Usually you expect this to be juicy, very juicy, and very sweet, but probably it's not anymore. I can tell you when you start to cut it, you can smell there is this kind of aroma that is very close to Poncirus, very similar even probably to the Dunstan. It is another crossing with the Poncirus, but this kind of taste is yeah, it's not very good. It's particular, let's say. Okay, let's say one thing. Usually, this kind of hybrid, just for the reason of being an hybrid with Poncirus, you expect to be not very tasteful, let's say. But in this case, even if the smell is very similar to Poncirus, when you cut open, the taste inside usually is good. It's not very bad. It's the best part of the flavor of the Poncirus, let's say. So usually this doesn't taste like resin or pine. Taste because in Poncirus you can even feel the resin inside, but in this case you feel a different taste that is strange but very particular, but not very bad, and you can feel even the taste of the sweet orange. So usually it's not so bad, but this fruit is clearly gone over. So yeah, it's not very good fruit. Because it's too late, as I told, one thing that you have to pay attention with this kind of plant is that the plant is very cold hardy, could resist even like -14. Somebody tells even -15, maybe it's -12, or anyway, it's a very, very strong very cold hardy orange. The taste is not the best, but what's important for this kind of plants is that you have to take the fruit before any very strong cold freeze. So the fact that this is pretty early, so you can collect the fruit even in early December or maybe late November. It's a very good thing. Okay, never do like me and take this collect this in February, because it won't be a good fruit. It will be a rotten fruit, obviously. But that's just to show you the shape and the size of the fruit. And I can feel, if I continue to touch the peel, I can feel there is the resin on the outside of the peel, not inside, but outside for sure. And just as a reference, let's try to taste the peel. Yeah, the peel's taste is not so bad like Poncirus, but surely bitter, and yeah, it doesn't have a good taste. It's a little similar to kumquat, a little similar to something bitter, but it's not something I will use for candies. Okay, this is Dunstan. That is a crossing between Poncirus and a grapefruit, so something like this. Okay, this is the Poncirus, this is a kind of grapefruit, and so the result is this kind of fruit. And let's say this kind of fruit is not the best tasting fruit I ever tried, and I know because I already tried in the past, but just to show you how it is. The weight is around 107 grams. If you take the Poncirus fruit, is only 10 or 20 grams usually. This is a very old fruit because it's very late in February for Poncirus fruit, but grapefruit usually it's more than 300 grams, obviously. And okay, let's try it. The smell is very strange. Okay, so an interesting thing. First, the fruit is not seedless. It looks like a grapefruit or a very pale orange. And the smell, yeah, it's very strange on the peel. It resembles something like piney or herbaceous, but I cannot say exactly. And this is pretty interesting because as you have seen before, the US119 it's seedless, no, with no seed. In this case, the seeds are there, so the plants are even close and similar part of the crop, but the US119 usually is seedless. So even the cross-pollination is not so easy with that, but it's easier with Dunstan. The taste is very acidic, very sour. It's not so bad. Yeah, okay, I told too early. Depends on the part of the fruit you eat, but sometimes you don't feel the resin taste, the piney taste, but sometimes you feel clearly the Poncirus taste. So it's very bitter. So okay, this is a very ripened fruit. We are in February, so it's very ripened. Yeah, it's sour, but not so sour. It could be thought even not sweet, but let's say not so sour. Okay, but for sure, the fruit is with this kind of bitter taste, similar to Poncirus. So if I want to taste one slice, it's like this. As you can see, it's very similar to a small grapefruit. Yeah, but the problem is that if you eat or taste this part is the part that where the Poncirus taste is. So probably if you juice it, the juice won't be so bad. Yeah, but you can feel there is the aroma of the Poncirus around, so it's not very pleasing fruit. It's strange, let's say.